Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Give to God what belongs to God. Many times we have trouble with this issue. And that's why the readings today really put us at ease and give us the truth about this exercise of our behavior. In the first reading today, we met the prophet Isaiah, who really spoke to us about the exile of Babylon, where the people of Israel, because of their sin, they were now slaves to Babylon. And how after 70 years, God used a pagan king. And that pagan king was Cyrus. And although he did not know the God of Israel, God selected him to be the one to free his people from enslavement. Because God used anyone who would like to do his will. He is not selective. Many times, we think that God is going to use David, Abraham, or somebody else in the scripture. No. Today we see that God used Cyrus, king of Persia, that by his overcoming the people of Babylon, he opened the doors to free the chosen people. And here we see that God said, although you don't know me, you have been an instrument in my hands. In the gospel today, Jesus was confronted with the same question that sometimes we ask ourselves. Are we really liable to pay the taxes or not? And Jesus knows that they are coming with their malice to really entrap him in word. After he said to them, why? Why are you doing this? And then he asked him to give him a coin. And the coin, inscription and words were of Caesar. And Jesus said, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and give to God what belongs to God. Many people say, I don't like it. Well, let us take some extract from the gospel. Do you remember when Jesus was in front of Pontius Pilate, when he was accused, and he was about to be condemned to death? How Pilate said to him, you don't answer me, I have the power to put you to death or to release you. Do you know the word of Jesus? No power was given to you, but it was given to you from above. And so, although we have two states, the state and also the state of the church, the state of God, we know that although we have to be obedient to both, we are obedient to the supreme law, which is the law of God. And we know also how Jesus himself not only preached, but also acted. And that's why today, the church tried to say to us, remember, dear people, that you are called to be subject of the church and subject also of the state. Many people say, why is that? If you turn in the book, we call it the document of the Vatican Council, in the Constitution Gaudium et Spes, which is the church in the modern world, paragraph 74, the church states these words. Every law is made by humans and is made for a purpose, so that they will safeguard the safety and bring peace to those who are in that community. And so, if laws are made by humans, and humans are created by God, so there is an approval, because God gave the intelligence to us, so that by which of science and what he gave us, we can live in harmony and peace. And that is exactly why we have to be obedient to the state. Because those laws are there to protect us. The other thing is that each one of us have to work for a living. And that work that we do identify who we are. Let's take, for example, a carpenter. A carpenter who makes a table, although he has the form in his mind, although he has the material in his hands, he has to work at it. And that production he is going to make will identify the true carpenter. And so our work identifies who we are. And so we are really be identified by what we really accomplish. And so by being people who really are people who needs laws by which is going to guide us for our safety and security, and by what we work will produce, so that not only will we also have a living, but also we help others. We need also, the church said to us, to be involved in politics. Because involving in politics, we are going to be a guide for those who are running the state. And that's very important. Sometimes, we take a step back and say, well, I don't care what they do. I go to church, I pay my taxes and that. No, we need to get involved. Because if we don't get involved, then we are not going to have democracy. We are not going to have laws by which is going to safeguard us. There will be people at the top, and we are going to be at the bottom, and we are going to have different, as we say, government. And that's why it is very important. In fact, the church says, it is your very right that you take yourself to the polls and vote. It is the right of each one of us to really go and exercise our citizenship by really electing people in office who, in your estimation, because of your conscience, because of your study that you have, you know that they are the right people to be in that office. Now, everyone is free to do and elect whom they want. But the church in her teaching also gives us a guidance. And the guidance is that we need to form a conscience. And that conscience is not because, well, Father, let me tell you, these people allowed these things to happen. They were sleeping for all years, and this is young man coming on, and I like to see him because he is going to do something in Washington. Washington, dear people, is money. Money control Washington. Is what the man is going to do is little comparing with what he has to go through the Senate and also to the House. But remember, dear people, that the church teaches that our conscience has to be formed according to the gospel. And so, the church said, if the platform of the individual, whether woman or man, does not go against the contradiction of the gospel, you are free to vote for him. But when that person is intrinsic evil in his platform, that means that he wants to pass laws or to support laws that goes against the gospel of life, in conscience you cannot do it. And that is the teaching of the church. And so people who support intrinsic evil like abortion, like same-sex marriage, like a destruction of family, we cannot. Dear people, go for them. Well, Father, because the principle is this. You can have lots of laws that are going to help the poor, that are going to help different people. If you are destroying life, what kind of people you have to have?